Hey everyone, this is PushDustIn. It's been a long time, but I'm happy to be back and to talk a little bit about Smash speculation. There's a lot of interest right now because a lot of people are thinking that we are very, very close to the next fighter reveal, and I want to kind of weigh in my own thoughts. But before I do that, I actually asked on Twitter if people had any questions for me. I kind of collected them, looked at them over, and I'll be answering them. I don't have a formal script, so this will be just like off the top of my head. So please excuse any ums or the, kind of responses because I'm just thinking out loud right now. First off, thank you for everyone for bringing in so many responses. We had about 45 questions asked. And I kind of just chose a couple that I wanted to go over, ones that were asked repeatedly, and kind of give my own thoughts. So the first question that we have is from Matt at Gavna, and he asked, maybe you can go into characters or companies that would be considered curveballs on speculation similar to Terry. And the question is kind of very similar to Makaluso, who said, what are some characters that get brought up as possibilities for DLC that you personally think are absolutely absurd and have zero chance? Okay, so they're both kind of asking about curveball and kind of overrated characters, and let me go into that. So I think a curveball character that is kind of slept on is Resident Evil, and also Lara Croft. Both are very, very popular franchises, and I think that they could actually be the one of the main highlights of the Fighter Pass 2 if they were to be if they were to come to fruition. I think it would bring a lot of people into Smash, which is part of the plan for DLC. Part of Nintendo's marketing plan is to not just get Nintendo fans excited, but also to get people who have not picked up Smash and to really consider getting the game and getting the DLC. I remember when Cloud was revealed for Smash for 3DS and Wii U, there was this girl that I was dating at the time, and she was super, super excited about Cloud being in Smash, and she didn't play video games, you know? So I think like that's part of Nintendo's marketing strategy with the DLC. And I think Joker and Hero were really good cases for that. Banjo, I think, was also picked because he's been long requested by not only Smash fans but Nintendo fans in general. So I think it kind of all those characters had pulls into kind of why they were selected and everything like that. So yeah, I think kind of Lara Croft, Resident Evil, those characters are kind of slept on. I think those are more likely than not. And then Makaluso says, what characters do you think are overrated? I think Doomguy has a slightly overrated chance. I think that Doomguy is a little bit too violent. Of course, it can be toned down and everything, and Sakurai can make anything work. But I think that the fact that he comes from a Western developer, the fact that he is extremely violent and everything, it makes his chances just a little bit lower. That being said, Bethesda has supported Nintendo Switch very strongly. They brought Breath of the Wild content into Skyrim for the Switch. They were there since day one, so it's possible. The next question is from at Soda Pop Barbecue, which is a fantastic name. And this one's kind of maybe controversial, but we'll see. Are Laxcris, Lock Content, and other similar channels that treat every league as legitimate contribute to the reputation of the speculation community as toxic by stoking the masses to wild frenzies? So I have a little bit of beef with those kinds of channels because they're showcasing and highlighting rumors and stuff like that they obviously know is fake. Like, you can't have a legitimate looking leak every week, and most 4chan posts and stuff like that, they don't end up being true. We've had, I think, maybe like 6 in the history of Smash that ended up being legitimate. So I wouldn't really. I know people like them, but like I really wish that people would take the default stance that rumors and leaks are false until proven otherwise. I think it's really healthy to have that feeling that It's not true until it's been confirmed, instead of the vice versa. I think that way, it won't get people's hopes up, and it won't, cause rampant expectations that will obviously not be fulfilled. Like, it's pretty obvious that this pass of characters is 99% chance the last pass, and any rumor or text post that says like we're gonna get a bonus character and stuff like that, I immediately just throw it in the trash, because there's just no evidence to suggest that right now. If it happens, it would be a nice surprise, but I'm not expecting anything more than what we've been promised. Speaking of that, we have the next question comes from No Gnarl Lane, goes by Haku for Smash. They ask, what do you think the split between first-party and third-party characters will be in the remaining DLC? This is something that has been brought up a lot, especially because we have had two first-party characters in a row with Byleth and Inman. And I think a lot of people are now thinking oh, maybe we'll get more first-party characters and stuff like that. I feel that with DLC 1, Nintendo spent quite a bit of money, and so I don't think it's unreasonable that DLC 2 will be a little bit downsized, especially because you have 6 fighters. So that might mean that we have 3 first parties and 3 third parties. I think that would be a pretty reasonable expectation. If you have 6 characters, I think you're bound to have a little bit more first party selection, just because Nintendo needs to recoup their costs and everything like that. Continuing this development cycle is very costly for Nintendo, because they still have to pay all these developers to work on the game, keeping them from projects that potentially would make more money. It's much more, makes more financial sense to send Sakurai off to make a new Smash game than to make more DLC, right? So I think at the end of the day, we'll probably get a couple more first-party characters, especially because I think Nintendo is really aware now that Smash can be used as a vehicle to promote their series. I think that's the main reason that ARMS was selected into the Fighter Pass 2, is because Nintendo realized that they needed to kind of raise the profile of ARMS, especially because I think they are planning on making it a franchise, and having a character in Smash kind of solidifies that, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if we see another Xenoblade character, or a character from a Breath of the Wild or something like that, even though probably those series don't really need it as much now. But just as a reminder for people to, hey, we got these new games. You can check them out in Smash, but you can also get these games as well. So the next question is by Pablo Y2K. They ask, do you think that pandemic has affected the development of the remaining DLC fighters? Absolutely. I think 100% that the pandemic has impacted the development and has kind of delayed the timings of things. Even if the actual development, even if all the people, they have all the resources, because Sora Limited is buying all the computers and desks and stuff like that people need. Not being there in the same office, working from home, is going to make things delayed a little bit, because Sakurai's not going to be able to keep tabs on everyone 100% and keep a uniform vision just working from home. But I also think that the pandemic has altered Nintendo's overall marketing plan, and I think Nintendo's marketing plan is ultimately what dictates when fighters are revealed. I wouldn't be surprised if the next fighter is almost done or is already done. We had confirmation back in January 16, 2020, that we would be getting 6 new characters. In my own estimate, I think that characters for DLC typically take about 6 to 7 months to develop, and it's not like each character takes 6 months. Like, they work on one character and the next. It's they have overlap in development cycles. So while the 3D models and the artists are working on one character, the programmers are finishing up the other. So I think that that kind of system, with that in mind and everything like that, I think that the Fighter Pass 2 second character should be almost ready by now, or is ready, just because it's been over 9 months now. since the reveal that they've been working on. Min Min was released back in the end of June, so I'd expect them to be finished, with the next patch in 9.0. And yeah, and again with the marketing, I think that Smash reveals are inherently tied to Nintendo's marketing. Sakurai has said that he doesn't get to really decide when characters are announced. It's up to Nintendo's marketing team and stuff like that. And with the current ongoing situation in the world, a lot of things had to be changed. E3 suddenly was not a thing, and Nintendo has kind of scrambled to kind of figure out what they were doing, and you can really see that in the way that they presented information. It's been pretty inconsistent over the last few months. We had a long period where we had no information, and then a sudden period of information, and everything kind of announced all at once. So I think that the current ongoing situation in the world has had a huge impact on Fighter Pass 2. That being said, there is a question that the current ongoing situation will delay the fighters, and I don't think so. The main reason is because so far they haven't announced a delay, and also with Min Min's 7-Eleven ad, they still say that all the characters will come by the end of 2021. So I think that we're still on track to get all those characters. The next question is from Firemaj, who asks, how much consideration should we take from developers deconfirming characters or choosing no comment? We have instances like Doom Guy, whose explanation was thoroughly explained and given context, and how with the current Suda51 and his no comment when asked about traps in Smash. You shouldn't really take developers' words either way. Like, a lot of developers will say, like, oh, I want, my character in Smash. And, the community will be like, oh my god, it's gonna happen. Or, people will be like, oh, I'm sorry that, this character can't be in Smash. And then everyone will be like, well, he's not gonna be in Smash. I think, like, you should be aware of them, and you should be considerate of it. But I don't think you should take it as 100% clear-cut information either way. And the reason is because ultimately it's NDA, non-disclosure agreements. These developers are bound by Nintendo to not say anything about their characters coming to Smash. And I'm sure that any marketing relating to Smash has to go through, a lot of approval and stuff like that. So I wouldn't really, worry. I wouldn't put too much stock into deconfirmed characters, or it was EVG who asked about the development slowing down from working at home. Sorry about that. And EVG also asked, what are the chances Smash gets more content like Small Battlefield, and how likely do you think a Western-born fighter is? So extra content like Small Battlefield, I was personally pretty surprised about that, because that came out of nowhere. It was a very good bonus, I thought. I think that, especially as Smash Ultimate gets a little bit older and older, I hope to see more quality of life updates like Small Battlefield that are a little bit more catered towards the competitive community, because these are the people that are going to be playing the game like, years. And Nintendo has been trying to push that angle for a while now. So I think that small extra content like Small Battlefield is possible, but I don't think modes are. I think Sakurai has confirmed that the last mode was already added, and it seemed with the first Fighter Pass, the modes were kind of tied with character releases. So I wouldn't really expect a lot of extra content like Small Battlefield, but I think maybe one or two more is definitely possible. How likely do I think a Western-born fighter is I think it definitely hurts the chances of the character. Sakurai has said in the past that Smash is a way to celebrate Japanese gaming, and so far we've had only 2 or 3 characters from the West make it into Smash, with Banjo, Diddy Kong, and Dark Samus. Basically all being rare and retro. Being the only characters in the past. I think Master Chief is a possibility just because Microsoft didn't get any costumes with Banjo and Kazooie, having some sort of extra Microsoft content in the second Fighter Pass is possible, at least. Outside of Microsoft, or maybe even like, you know, I guess Steve would be a Western fighter as well. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say a Westbourne fighter for DLC. You know, there's a lot of choices, obviously, with Doom Guy, and you know, Bethesda in general has a lot of great characters. You know, with I don't know. Maybe we could see Rayman. Rayman has kind of a unique situation since he's published by Nintendo in Japan, so I think he's a little bit more likely than other Western characters. But we'll see. You know, we don't really know right now. Phantom Z2, this is the last question, by the way. Phantom Z2 asks, do you think people take for granted how much work goes into creating a character or working with another company with bringing their character in? And yeah, absolutely. As I mentioned earlier, I think that characters take roughly about 6 months to create. You know, just to give people an idea, when they're making a character, they have to come up with a concept art. And after they come up with a concept art, you know, they start doing textures and modeling and animations and sound and music and stage design and debugging and programming, and you know, there's a lot of steps that go into creating characters. And especially with Smash and Sakurai, they tend to be a little bit more thorough than a lot of other fighters. Like a lot of fighting games, they'll rely on semi-clones or characters that are very similar to other characters for their DLC. But I think like with Smash, they try to reinvent the wheel every time. You saw that with Fighter Pass 1, you know, each of the characters, they brought a unique concept with them. And I think the same will be said with Fighter Pass 2. People would be better off looking at trying to figure out like what makes a character unique more in what they represent and what they could bring to Smash. I think that would be more interesting angle for the Smash speculation community to look at. But yeah, and then also working with another company, you know, it really depends on the company, but Sakurai has talked about editorial supervision in the past. Just recently I was reminded of a comment he made about Lloyd's costume for Smash for Wii U, when he said, you know, if he, you know, it had to be Lloyd for the Tales of costume because, you know, who else would it be? And also the editorial supervision for the older games tends to be a little bit harder. So I think that that combination of, you know, where original creators are working now, what kind of people the original creators are, you know, how flexible the company is, that all matters. Like I think with Mega Man, like Capcom just kind of like gave Sakurai like freedom, absolute freedom almost, about the character. I'm sure they still like reviewed and you know, gave suggestions on this and that, but yeah, I think like it really depends on the company, and as Sakurai has said, it depends for a third-party character to come into Smash, both parties need to want that character. It can't just be you know, Sakurai requesting the character or that company requesting that character. So it goes both ways. So yeah, I hope that about a 20-minute video. I'm sorry for rambling at parts, but I hope this was useful. If you disagree with me on any parts, just, you know, leave a comment below. If you have any additional questions that you'd like me to answer, I would be happy to do a follow-up video sometime in the future. Thanks so much, guys, for watching till the very end, and you can check out the patrons for Source Gaming on the screen right now. And if you want to see more videos like this, then please let us know. Thank you.